Can I also welcome again the family of the member for Drysdale? Welcome again. And I now call upon the member for Drysdale to speak.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Mr Deputy Speaker, in my budget speech, I'd like to address a few things first. And one will be the comments from the Greens Party today, Mr Deputy Speaker. The Greens Party called the CLP government racist and enacting racist policy. The Greens Party in that comment has shown that they are the most racist party in this chamber. It is in the name of a country liberal. It is that word liberal, Mr Deputy Speaker. We do not care if you are black, white or brindle. You will be treated the same under a CLP government. It is in the word liberal, Mr Deputy Speaker. If you commit a crime, I do not care what colour, what race, creed or religion you are from. You will find a bed in our corrections facility and we will make the community safe, Mr Deputy Speaker. I stand here and I speak for people of all different backgrounds, all different heritage, and they all bleed one colour, Mr Deputy Speaker, and that is red. And I will stand here and represent every single one of them, and I will not reduce them to race. We cannot continue in this year, in this century, to reduce our people to race. The Greens have done a 180 and gone so far back in time that they would like all this race-based policy. They need the world to be oppressor versus oppressed. It is not so, Mr Deputy Speaker. This chamber is here to represent every single human being in the Northern Territory, and we will do so equally. We would claim to not address the root causes of crime. Mr Deputy Speaker, in the budget and our plan of reform, we are addressing the root causes of crime. We are doing housing reform, something people across my electorate of every race are screaming for. They want housing reform. They are sick of being at the hands of those who disrupt the community, who drink at all hours of the night, play music through all hours of the night, and we will address that. And we will allocate the funds in our budget accordingly, Mr Deputy Speaker. DV funding. The Minister has spoken constantly of the extra funding our government has delivered. The largest an NT government has ever delivered in this space. Just because it does not suit the Greens, Labor or crossbench on which organisation it goes to, somehow that makes it wrong. We are allocating the funds because our government cares about this issue, but more importantly, we will act on this issue, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I am sick of the Greens, Labor and the crossbench subjugating the powers of this parliament to bodies, to lobby bodies who have a goal to academically elitist lead. We are not subjugating our powers. The people put us in here to govern. It is a backdoor to their revolution. She laughs, Mr Deputy Speaker. But to give up the powers of this parliament to other bodies, it undermines the whole system. Why even have a parliament? Why not just bring in bodies, community bodies, to make the legislation? That is not what the people asked for. They put us here and they expect us to govern. And it is time Labor and the crossbench and the Greens took on that responsibility to govern and make hard decisions. Because to be in this chamber means you have to face hard decisions, not hand them out to other people to do for you. So, Mr Deputy Speaker, I'll also now move to the opposition leader's response. And I'm not sure what this Labor opposition has in plan. There is no narrative. We attack, there's higher debt, but then they want more spending. Well, make up your mind, opposition leader. What exactly is your narrative? What is your opposing view What are you putting forth in opposition? Because we saw none of that, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And Mr. Deputy Speaker, on the topic, I think it's very important that we clarify to the people of the Northern Territory exactly why there is a deficit. The opposition leader, it amazed me, but she brought up the debt that their government left. $55,000 for every man, woman and child hangs on the neck of every Northern Territorian. $55,000. So for my people in the electorate of Drysdale, you can thank the Labor opposition for their time in government, because they have put $55,000 on your neck, on your partners, and every single child in your home. You now carry that debt. And when we came into government, we found out, Madam Speaker, that they had not funded a whole raft of contracts. And so the Labor stand here and accuse us of increasing debt. The people of the Northern Territory need to know that was not optional. It has to be funded because we are in contract. And you can look around at the white elephants growing all over the place. They didn't fund them in their forward estimates. If we didn't fund them, we'll end up in the court where we'll have to pay anyway on top of court fees. So we have had to put that money, which, yes, has grown the debt. It is Labor's debt. No matter how it's spun, no matter how this deficit is spun from Labor or journalists who are inclined to spin it that way as well, they are Labor's contracts which they lied. They purposefully lied to the people of the Northern Territory and did not fund them in their forward estimates to trick you leading into the 2024 election. I've said it before in here, if it was a private business, Madam Speaker, you would go to prison. Think about that. And to the people of the Northern Territory, think about that. If that cabinet was a private enterprise, an administrator would have taken over and they would face criminal charges with up to 15 years. And then, in the last sitting, they raised a motion to congratulate themselves on that, and the crossbench voted with it. So they talk about accountability, yet they voted in favour of congratulating a government that, if in private industry had done it, would face prison. The mind boggles, Madam Speaker. So we have the highest net debt in the country, $55,000 per man, woman and child. We overspend on all contracts. There was no accountability. And throughout the speech, I have no idea of what Labor is actually presenting. Do they want lower debt or do they want more spending? Because we heard both. And it highlights how we got here. It truly does. And I would beseech the Labor opposition to have a good hard look at themselves, Madam Speaker, and to think, what are we going to do differently to when we were last in government? Because all we have heard is the exact same lines that were delivered for 8 long years. And we saw their program, the other great lie to the people of the Northern Territory. And I'll bring this back to my electorate in Drysdale. For years, the local member, who was also the former Chief Minister, promised an upgrade to the Driver Primary School and said it's on the program, It never came, Madam Speaker. The program was never delivered. It was a lie. And they never intended to do it. It was to fool you into thinking they would do something. Well, I am proud to say, Madam Speaker, within the first few months of coming into government, we will deliver that upgrade, and work will begin this year. I will not sit here and lie to the people of my electorate, to the electorate of Drysdale. If I tell you I'll do something, I will do it. And that is why we are finally upgrading the Driver Primary School 𝙍𝙀𝙇𝙀𝙍. It is a safety issue. I will not tell you it's on some program that will never be delivered. Another concerning thing we've heard constantly in replies is that the rights of offenders still remain the priority for Labor and the crossbench. Despite the calls throughout the Northern Territory, throughout the calls from my people in the electorate of Drysdale, they are not only sticking to it, doubling down. We will not concede. We are staying the path. These calls can happen all they want, Madam Speaker. We are firm in our approach. And may the people of the Northern Territory know we will not change course. We will not give in to the pressure of the minority, Madam Speaker. We will deliver what we promised to the people of the Northern Territory. Programs. We know Labor and the crossbench love a good social program. Well, so happens we've delivered more, as we heard this week, than Labor did in their whole last year. In just the 8 or 9 months we have been in government, Corrections has delivered more programs to offenders than Labor did in their entire last year of governing. So not only are we committing to delivering on our election promises, we are dealing with the root causes of crime, and we are still delivering more in the approach that they scream for than they did in government. So we are truly doing both. It bewildered me throughout the speech of the defence of the former government. And that is that as we read the figures, as we read the debt, as we hear the stories of victims of crime, families that are left following the murder of a loved one, the bruised faces that exist across the Northern Territory, families that live in fear, which is all throughout my electorate, Madam Speaker. My electorate suffers from a communal anxiety that has been caused by this crime crisis we now live in. And despite that, they still doggedly defend what they did in government. Well, I can assure you it only emboldens us and ensures us that what we are doing is right, and that we must fight the opposition and the crossbench, and we will continue to push forward with what the Northern Territory has asked for us. We saw in the 𝙍𝙀𝙇𝙀𝙍 police station just another version of just shocking waste and political interference. I mean, let's just slap a police sign on Woolworths. That'll fix it. I mean, why not? That seems to be their approach to governing, because that is all the 𝙍𝙀𝙇𝙀𝙍 police station could do. It would be just as effective as the Woolies near 𝙍𝙀𝙇𝙀𝙍, Madam Speaker. And then this week, we had calls from Labor and the crossbench to man it, when the opposition leader knows it can't be used operationally. They built it, and they knew it couldn't be manned. So what an outrageous demand. And it also highlights something very interesting, how they governed. Because in calling on our Chief Minister to do something she can't do, which is direct police, it gives us a little bit of insight into how the Labor government actually acted. And again, we heard it when the Leader of Opposition called out, said members of our backbench are breaking ranks for talking about crime. What an interesting insight into the Labor mind. Because in a country liberal government, We are allowed to speak our minds. In fact, Madam Speaker, it's quite literally in our philosophy. We are put here to represent our people and to do so with liberal, conservative values, Madam Speaker. And so when she called out that me speaking about crime was breaking ranks, we really saw an insight into the Labor way of governing. And I would urge Territorians to take serious note of that. Because I wonder, for those 8 years, how many backbenchers were silenced? How many backbenchers were told they could not speak up? Well, actually, we saw it. The good member for Karama brought up the Honourable Vows, and we all know what happened to him for speaking up. There was a man who put the territory first, and we saw his rapid execution by the then Chief Minister. Absolute shame. So we continue to address the root causes, and I thank the Treasurer for his work. He has inherited an absolute mess, and there is no other way to put it, Madam Speaker. The highest indebted per capita Australians in history, and that is what our government has inherited. So we will invest where we promised. We'll address in police, we'll invest in the justice system, and we'll invest in corrections. The Minister has also spoken about her efforts in increasing school attendance, as something everyone in this House agrees on, is that education is the only way to truly empower and change people's lives. And so through our school attendance officers, we will invest there. I've spoken about the housing reform. I openly call out the ghettos that exist in the electorate of Drysdale and the need for significant reform so that we can uplift everybody, especially those that are given a house in the ghetto areas so that they have a true opportunity of success. Madam Speaker, it is a difficult road ahead for the Northern Territory, but may the people know that with the Country Liberal Party at the helm, we will listen to them, we will address what the people want, that always being our priority, and we will turn this ship around, we will grow this economy, and in growing the economy, Madam Speaker, as I always say, the reason we want it to grow is so that we can do more social good. Because without that economy and without growing revenue, we cannot do the social good that is education, that is health, and that is changing people's lives for the better. And so that is why we will continue to focus. I want to see increased wealth in my electorate of Drysdale. I want to see every individual family getting richer so they can enjoy more things in life and have greater opportunity than they had when Labor left government. And that is what I will set out to do for the people of Drysdale. I thank the Treasurer for his hard work this year, and I look forward to what the Country Liberal Party will bring. Thank you, Madam Speaker.